Okay. Now I think we are. Or at least
Hooray!
in a moment. It says going. Hello, everybody. We're here. We're not late, technically. Hey, we're even early. We're even early. See, that's better than being late.
Man, we are on the ball today.
I wasn't desperately trying to get everything together to start on time or anything.
That's how much Andrew values each of you. He was working very hard to get ready.
Yeah, I mean, a new video came out that I had to geolocate, and it came out like um 30 minutes ago, and I didn't see it until 20 minutes ago. So I had to geolocate that and map it. And it was a long video. Well, it wasn't long, but it had a lot to geolocate. It's all these airstrikes. So yeah, that's what I was kind of panicking. Like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna locate this in time, but I did.
Don't people realize that you have a stream at this time every Tuesday night and like they really can't be jerks like that and release videos right before the stream?
Well,
Like super rude.
the best part of this video is it's from uh Ramanov, and this video was in response to him saying my map is wrong. So it's like this video was dedicated to me personally. And he released it like right before my stream started. So
It's like a song when like a girl used to send you a song and be like, "Oh, this is my favorite song and it makes me think of you, Andrew," like in junior
yeah,
high.
yeah this is
Somebody's going to clip that out and great.
this is this is his map. He says my map is wrong. That this his map is right. That's what he says. I don't think his map is right, to be honest. I'm not sure my map is right either, but I don't think his is right because he's saying that the Russians control like everything outside of that red box, and Ukraine controls everything in the red box. Um, which would be what would this be? It would be that red box is like right here. Um, but he's basically saying that Ukraine doesn't control this part, or rather that Russia controls that part, which I'm not sure they do. To be honest, I'm not sure they do. I know a bunch of people recently have been saying that Ukraine controls this part, which I think is wrong. I don't think that's true. I know a lot of people have been saying that like this whole area to the west is a gray area, and I'm not sure that's true either. I don't know. I'm not sure. The only thing I'm very confident about is that Ukraine probably controls right here, where all these bombs are.
See, I have a lot more faith in your estimation of that.
Um, yeah, I mean, Romanov, his I think his very best case scenario. I find that the Russians, when they map things, they tend to think if we're if we have any presence there, it's 100% ours, which is not how it works. It's not how it works at all, because like well, there's a video I definitely can't share because it's one of those gruesome combat video type things. But there's a video that came out today that happened right here. This is right near Klishchiivka. I don't think this is a current video. I think this video is actually old. Because first off, there's no snow, and there is snow in reality. So there's no snow, but um, Ukraine was fighting here. Like they pushed here, and they had. I mean, it wasn't that many. I don't know how many Ukrainians there were. Maybe like six. I'm not sure, but only two of them were alive at the during the video, and both of them died. So I think there were six, and like all six of them died. But they're fighting here, and there were some Russians. I might be flipped around. I think the Russians were here, or they may have been there. I don't remember if it's flipped in my head or not. But anyways, the point is that the Ukrainians were kind of laying on the ground, and the Russians were like in a bush, and the Russians were like throwing grenades at them. And see, to my point, the Russians would say, if the Ukrainians are here and the Russians are there, that means Russians control this whole area because Russians are there. Whereas I would say they're both there, so nobody controls it. That would be my interpretation. But the Russian interpretation is we have one soldier there, that means it's ours. And when they map, that's how they map things. And you have to keep that in mind. If they have one guy there, it's 100% their control. They could have, it could be one Russian there and like 10,000 Ukrainians, and it'd be like, it's Russian.
There's a real lack of logic in that.
Yeah. That's the way they map things, and I think that's the way Ramanov is mapping over here, because we do have these videos, and these videos are also not new, and we know that because there's no snow. But they are recent. They are recent, but they're not new. They're probably from right before it snowed, I would imagine. But you see all of these drone attacks from Ukraine were all focused right here. I don't think Russia controls there, but Ukraine sure is firing a lot of drones there, or at least they were like a week or two ago. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't. This was kind of the intro. There's boat news. Do you want to talk about boats? There's like so much boat news. First off, there's dolphin news. I even have a dolphin icon.
You put a dolphin. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah, there was a really big storm. Like last week we talked about a really big storm, and some boats had some issues down in Turkey. This week, this storm was bigger, and more boats, like a lot more boats, had a lot of problems. And a whole bunch of the defenses around Sevastopol and the dolphin pens around Sevastopol have been crushed, to say the least. If you saw any of the videos coming out of Sevastopol in general, that whole area just got decimated. There's places along the Crimean coast where there's rail lines, and like they're generally quite a ways back from the shoreline. When I was talking to David about it, he showed me, or he said that basically that was the waves taking about 10 meters out of the shoreline, like a 10-meter bite out of the shoreline in order to affect those particular rail lines. So like, if you just think about the amount of power generation from some waves that you would have to take out 10 meters of shoreline in, that's giant. And it was really big. It was so big that there's a whole bunch of cargo ships, like really big cargo ships, that had their anchors down, had their engines running, trying to stay in place, and could not. There are at least 4 of them that got beached that I know of. And I think there's another one that I found just before the stream started. And then I don't know if you have the video of them all smashing against each other.
Yep, I sure do. I'm trying to put it on the screen, but I keep messing up. It's right there. Oh boy.
This is like so great. I don't think it hits on the first one. Oh, no. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's bad. Like, these are huge waves. It's just going to smash the heck out of the next one. So these ships each have their anchors down. They've drifted into each other, even with their anchors down and their engines running, trying to get away from each other. They hit, and then they drifted into a third one and hit it. And then apparently, eventually, they were all able to separate and get to kind of safer positions like 20 minutes later. But needless to say, it was a really bad week in the Black Sea, weekend in the Black Sea. That's just the Crimean / Russian side, which had all kinds of things that we can celebrate, but it was not without issue on the Ukrainian side. There's a whole bunch of damage that was done by the wind over in Crimea. It took down a whole bunch of trees. There was feet of snow, electricity problems, like with power generation and heating, and like a huge portion of the roads that come basically from like the rest of Europe into Ukraine. So Poland, Romania, any of those border countries, a huge portion of those got shut down. And then a lot of the main roads in between Kyiv and Odessa got shut down as well. Just for blowing snow, they had like 2 feet of blowing snow on the highway, stopping traffic. So clearly nobody's going anywhere in that. There was lots of people stranded. They're still digging them out, I think. Yeah, that's Sevastopol.
Sochi.
Like massive amount. Oh, is that one Sochi? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been, I was trying to find that train video because it's so crazy. I couldn't find it. So this is Sochi.
The train video is even more crazy because they're actually
this is the train, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, they are driving.
There's 2 videos. There's another video where there's like a passenger train driving past, and the person on the passenger train is like, "Oh my God, why are we here?"
I know. I've been looking for it. I can't find it. I thought we had it in Discord, but I couldn't find it.
I'll have to look for it because it's like I had the same reaction. Oh my God, why are you there? Yeah, and then we'll just dump a little bit of gravel in there, and it'll be fine. No problem, guys.
Yeah, there's
no problem.
The house, the house that just couldn't handle it. This was too much for this house.
It like the wind was 70 knots, which I don't know how to convert that into anything, but it was nasty. There was tin blowing off roofs, obviously. Other really bad things happening to houses. Oh man. I haven't seen this
I like how the two things look like eyeballs until they fall off.
Yeah. The air conditioners?
Yeah.
That's so great. Oh man. What a disaster. And Russia is like obviously very known for their emergency services and helping out people. So this clearly went well for everybody. It's so bad. It was a really big storm.
These waves are pretty wild.
Yeah. So the range of waves going into it, they said the waves would be between 4 and 10 meters. I had not seen exactly where they got, like where they topped out to specifically, but they definitely had at least 4-meter waves throughout there. There's a whole bunch of video of cargo ships kind of out more in the middle of the Black Sea, trying to run, and they are not moving like at all. They're at full throttle. They're not moving, and they're just getting tossed around in these giant rollers that are as big as the ship they're on, and they're like big Panamax ships. So I can't even imagine being out there. That is not something I would do.
Yeah, I've stated before that I'm not a fan of water, and this is why. This is why I'm not a fan of water. I'm just like, no, thank you.
Sailors are like actually the heroes of the world that we just never talk about, because like most of the things that we consume on a regular basis don't come from our continent, or they come from other places that like they get shipped up to our portion of the continent and then trucked to us. So without sailors, there's a lot of the world's economy that would just fall apart. And we really don't talk about the fact that they put up with this kind of crap like on a regular basis. And it's not cool, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to stay as far away from the ocean as possible. I'm just not a fan. Like, too much water. Water's scary. It's so big and so heavy. And there's so much of it.
Like, And there's nothing you could do about that. Like if you're out in it, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to pretend to hold my breath for half a second, and then I guess I'll just breathe in the water because like there's no chance I'm coming up anyways. Like, oh, it's scary. I'm not a fan.
Did they ever find the crew of that Turkish ship?
No, 12 people are still missing from that. So they found the one. And so there is another ship that, so this storm last week, before it got to the Black Sea, it actually came through like Italy, Greece. It dumped like feet of snow in Greece. And so it came through like the Bosphorus Straits and all that area. And so there's another ship that I saw a video of down near Izmir, Turkey.
I haven't a clue where that is.
Yeah, it's almost straight south of the Bosphorus on
Okay.
south. Now go one body of water south. It's kind of near there, give or take. Doesn't matter. It's a little bit south of that too, but it's good.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, around there. There's another ship that was around that area that I watched video of it
Oh
today.
yeah, that's the Sea of Marmara. That's what it was. I always forget about the Sea of Marmara.
I think it actually wasn't. Now that I'm looking at the map, I think it actually wasn't in Marmara. I thought it was, but I think it was actually south of that.
Wait, yeah, it was over here.
Izmir is the bigger town that's just like a little lower than where your pointer is. Yeah, it's kind of center of your screen right now. So it was just out off of that one on one of those little islands. At any rate, I watched video of it. It was a giant ship today, and you could watch it going down in the water. Like it was very clearly going to sink, and they only rescued one person off of that particular ship. Only one person survived. So like this was a big storm. It did a lot of damage to a lot of places. We haven't even talked about all the damage it did in Turkey. Like it was disastrous for a lot of people. And then, of course, from the Black Sea, it headed up into Ukraine and along the line of contact, and it dumped snow and rain, and it's going to continue dumping some rain up there for at least today and maybe tomorrow. I haven't actually looked.
I think tonight there's a blizzard in Kharkiv, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. It's not very fast moving, and it's picked up a lot of moisture, and it's just dumping everywhere. So that's the boat news.
Yeah, and the dolphins were freed.
Maybe.
No, they definitely were. They're free. They swam away. They're happy.
They swam away.
Yeah,
they are happy dolphins.
The dolphin pens are gone. The barriers are gone. The protective barriers they built. I believe also the wall of sunken boats are gone around the Kerch, or at least some of them. They were.
I'm not sure that they're gone so much as they've definitely probably been covered up by more sand and silt and whatnot. That storm was so strong. I don't know. It would be interesting to find out whether or not they have to dredge out the channel there at all in order to be able to sail the big ships back through, because it would have moved around so much silt that that channel is already dredged out quite significantly compared to all of the other water around it. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly they get traffic back through there. And that the Kerch Strait area was closed down to ship traffic. I think from last Thursday, they had already closed it down, and they weren't expecting it to open it until at the earliest tomorrow.
Okay. I don't know any more boat news. That's all the boat news I know. I just know dolphins.
Dolphins are the important part. We're happy that the dolphin pens are no longer there.
And tonight there was a Shahad attack again. I actually don't really know much about this Shahad attack. I do know they attacked Odessa as per usual.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, to be honest. Uh, I know that they took their general route through Berislav into Mykolaiv, and then up from there. I've heard that um, that city I always forget the name of, the one that starts with a V. It's over here somewhere. Anyway, that city apparently was hit. What's the name of it? It would really help if I could remember what the name is. I didn't map it because it was a rumor. I was waiting for. Anyways, it was over there. Um, I can't remember. Anyway, if I go back in time, they paid before. Anyways, I don't feel like doing that. But anyways, one of the cities in Mykolaiv was rumored to be hit, and the drones were passing through the Poltava region, going northwest towards Kiev, and also drones were going through the north and southern parts of Vinnytsia towards the city of what's it called? Spartak? Where is that city? Right here. Not Spartak. This one. That one. Anyway, they're going to this airfield. This is where they attack, apparently. So they're going for this airfield, and they're going through the northern and southern part of Vinnytsia. So basically, the drones. I have a drawing tool. Did you know I have a drawing tool now? Anyway, the drones kind of do like this sort of thing, and then kind of go like that, and up, and then they also do like one of these and go that way, and sometimes they even go like that, and then sometimes they even go like a loop-de-loop up there and go like that. But anyways, they're all attacking that. Apparently, I mean I don't know for sure, but they seem to all be attacking that airfield, which is right there. And that airfield, I believe, is the one that supposedly has the Su-24s. Although I don't think the Su-24s are actually there anymore, but that's like their home base. Uh, yeah, I don't really know much about this Shahad attack beyond that, to be honest. There wasn't that much information other than the rumors of that one city being hit that I can't remember the name of because my memory is broken. So, uh, anyways, there were a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I saved them because they're all Telegram posts. Um,
Yippee!
the first one is this. Um, did I ever find someone to help me map the drones? No. I've been looking for someone to help me map the nighttime attacks ever since like last October. I can't find anyone who does it. I like I don't think anyone has mapped the nighttime attacks. Like period. Which I find crazy, first off. Like they've been a big deal. But I don't think anyone's ever mapped it. At least not that I know of. I mean, if they have done it publicly, I can't find it. Maybe it's like some really small Twitter account or something, or I don't know. But I can't find anyone who's mapped it. And I would love to have someone map it for my map. I can't find anyone who even has the interest in caring about mapping it. I mean, I've found people who are like, if you tell me how to do everything, I'll try. And I don't want to deal with that. I just want someone to map it. I don't want to teach them how, you know what I mean?
It's not even just the mapping. Like, I haven't found anybody who's even just counting how many of them there are. Like, it's like accurately, let's put it that way. It's unfortunate because, yeah, you're right. It's a big deal. It's been happening this entire time, and somehow it never got the attention it deserves.
Oh, Yeah. The hot spots near Snake Island, they've been doing that the whole time. It's like that thingy is venting. I can't remember what it is. Do you remember what it is? Exit that venti thingy. It's like near Snake Island, but it's been venting like the whole time. Like it's not like no, like it always does that. And people used to get like oh I wonder what that is, and like it's nothing. I also think that there's occasionally the sun just bounces off the ocean.
That um other than like consistently they drop bombs and other such things down there. Like I
There's like
Snake
a
Island has
It's like an oil rig, I think, or something that like vents or whatever. I don't know.
near it's I wouldn't call it near Snake. Oh, I guess. I guess it's kind of near Snake Island. But yeah, it's the one that blew up like way earlier in the piece. Like, was that last March? No,
Like over here
maybe April.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like
It's never stopped. Nobody's gonna go put it out anytime soon. It's just gonna keep flaring off, and that's life.
yeah,
You can look at the satellite image any day and you'll see it all.
yeah. Anyways, there are some things I'd like to talk about because I think they're interesting. I just don't know how to open them. Uh, Maybe I'll open them in my browser. Just, just open them. I'll use the browser translate thing. Okay, so maybe opening in the browser is a bad idea because it is really long. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to whatever. I'll just open it in the browser. Maybe I won't. I don't know how do I open this. Maybe Google Translate. I think it's too small to read and also really annoying to read. Uh, Maybe I'll just Google Translate it and put it into a document, and then I'll zoom in on the document so other people can read along. How about that? I think that'll work. I will find a document to open. I never. I was really busy preparing for the map, and I didn't think to prepare this part. So, anyways, here's the thingy. Okay, so this is about the prisoners that Russia is fighting with. So I just want to give some information. Okay, so this is coming from let's see. Uh this is from coming from Inquisition, which is these guys. Inquisition. Um just take it with a grain of salt. This isn't I'm not saying any of this as a fact, okay? Just take it with a grain of salt. This is just their opinion. And I think their opinion is interesting. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's true. And I'm just saying it's interesting. So let's read together. This is about the prisoners. This part I don't care about. Just skip that part. It's a I'm not even sure if that's true. But anyways, so basically these guys are saying that so they send in a group on foot of and they assault a they assault a firing position basically, okay? And the actions of the second group are controlled by quote Vagner with walkie-talkie. The prisoners do not have walkie-talkies. The second group does not know where the first is, and the first cannot retreat or even contact the second. Uh, you can't back down to either the first or the second group. Anyway, so the group only has a chance to survive if they succeed. If not, the Wagner with his walkie-talkie calls in the third group. The first group is mostly destroyed completely. Okay, so by then, the first group is usually destroyed completely, sometimes partially by friendly fire. The carriers of ammunition. More often, prisoners are used this way when the distance between positions is large. They went in small groups. Their task is to reach and deliver a backpack. I don't know why it says that. That's a weird thing to say. Anyways, a backpack with ammunition for the stormtroopers who would leave later, already in armor and with various weapons. The backpack contains cartridges of various calibers, grenades, and ammo for RPGs. They came in, mostly they were placed somewhere on the approach, and then the assault groups came, suppressing our firing positions, with fire using ammo from the corpses, or from those who were lucky enough to survive. Ammo consumption. By the way, BC means ammo. I think most people know that by now, but BC means ammo. Anyway, a small group of prisoners is trying to get closer to the position of the armed forces, which is far from the main ones. That is, the enemy knows that the fighters are carrying anti-tank missiles to this position, but there's no transport. The Zeks begin to lure our defenders into shooting, advancing and immediately hiding, firing a few rounds sparingly just to get us to fire back. All this stretches on for several hours. Some of the prisoners are destroyed. When the fire begins to decrease, they understand that the soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine are starting to save firepower. That is, they're running out of ammo. Then the main group, which has the advantage in the density of fire, is already in the assault. If everything works out for them, Ukraine retreats from the position because the ammo ends. Anyways, so mining. Sometimes the prisoners or the coordinator had a piece of explosive and a grenade. If they could not advance to the position and face the counterattack, they often mine the corpses of their own dead, sometimes deliberately. Sometimes, while dying, they will place a grenade under themselves, but mostly it is someone else mining them. So yeah, that's these are kind of the interesting things that you see sometimes. Motivation. Vagner honestly warns the prisoners that their chances of survival were small, and their units were mostly desperados who had nothing to lose. That's why they went forward, even with suicidal attacks. The morale was high. They fought to the end, and did not surrender prisoners so often. Over time, desperation began to wear off, and the effectiveness of prisoners began to decline. Coordination. The groups were coordinated by the quote Wagners, who were behind and who were told the situation by a walkie-talkie, according to the data on the UAV, if it was possible to injure or kill the coordinator, then in order to remove the corpse and wounded, the Wagners would sacrifice both the detachment and the platoon, but they tried to pull out the coordinator above all else. The Ziki were driven through training centers where tactics of small groups were taught quite well, albeit basically. They know how to shoot, they know basic knowledge of assault actions, defense of positions, and in general, what to do in contact with the enemy. We must admit, the instructor at Vagner was not so bad. Okay, so all of this is how they are describing how Russia is attacking them with prisoners, like actively. When they say Vagner, I don't think they mean the Vagner group. I think they mean... I don't really know what they mean, to be honest. I assume when they say Vagner, they mean the remnants of Vagner who now work for the Russian military. Not literally Vagner. Okay, so there is one more part to this. So here's the last part. But everything for the sake of completing the task, despite the disdain of this phrase, meat storm, the great losses in the process, it was difficult to counteract them. The following Storm Z were no longer so effective, firstly because the problems of Wagner itself, and secondly because the motivated convicts who were already ready to go to death for a small chance at a pardon began to end. So this is kind of the key. So I'm going to summarize because I think the auto translation did not do that justice, but I do think that did give some of the basic points. So what he's saying is that Russia is trying to recreate Wagner using some of the ways Wagner used to fight, but they can't do it entirely because Wagner was a much more motivated group of fighters. They were personally motivated and had high morale, generally speaking. Whereas the current Storm Z do not appear to have anywhere near the morale or the motivation or the training that Wagner had. And furthermore, he is stating that Wagner could only be successful for a short period of time because the reason it was successful was because they found enough people who were willing to die. But once they were dead, there weren't any more of them. So it was like a brief thing. And once they ran out, they ran out. So he's saying that first, Wagner was highly motivated, and these guys aren't. Wagner was much better trained, and these guys aren't. Although these guys have training, so they're not trained, but they're just not as good. And but Wagner had its own inherent weaknesses in the way it was formed and the way it operated, and those weaknesses exist still, except exacerbated because they now don't have that motivated base of soldiers. So that's what he's saying.
That is so depressing.
Yeah.
We like to doom on here. But man, I lost my train of thought. I'm just busy dooming over here.
And yeah, this does show the Ukraine's general lack of ammo, particularly mortars. That's true. Because this tactic would not work if you had mortar ammo, because you would charge forward into mortars, get shelled and die, and then that'd be it. But because Ukraine has very limited mortars, they can't do that. They can't pile shells into one place, because pretty much all of Russia's tactics bank on Ukraine not having mortar ammo. It's like Russia's entire offensive, like everything they do, is entirely built around the concept of Ukraine not having mortar ammo.
Okay. I agree with you that those probably aren't Wagner's, like the general larger concept of Wagner, but probably guys who had some experience with Wagner, and now they're more in a leadership role because they have more experience than anybody else.
Yeah, and that's when he says Wagner in that text, he's talking about the officers. The officers are Wagner, and the troops are Storm Z. So that's the differentiation. So Wagner, he calls them Wagner and coordinators. Those are the words he used. But those are like not necessarily officers, but they're the leaders. They're like maybe a better word would be like sergeant or something like that. I don't know. Like an NCO. Anyways, there's some other interesting things that I saw today that I'd like to share. This one is I'll just share it this way, it's easier. This one is interesting because they're Sapper shoes. We love Sappers, right? Sappers are great. And these are Sapper shoes. They're shoes for Sappers. What do you think?
So I will be dead honest, and I have told people this uh, live on air. I told them even. We had Vlad, who is a D-miner near Kharkiv, uh, on Mr. Bond's show. And I brought these up because when I them, I honestly thought, well, how could those make any difference at all? But they really actually do. And they have saved people's legs already, like more than one. Um, so they might look crazy, but they're actually really helpful. They are actually something that people fundraise for and build in Ukraine, and they literally save lives and save limbs.
Yeah. So these are I believe these are police officers. Uh, a lot of sappers in Ukraine, I don't know the percentage, but a lot of them are police officers. And I mean, I
Or
don't.
emergency services.
What's that?
Sorry, or emergency services like
Yeah,
paramedics and other people like that. They're basically, they all got retraining to do UXO.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know the fraction of them that are like police officers in particular, but I do know that I follow a bunch of police officers who are sappers. uh, anyways, I think these are emergency services. Uh, the state emergency service of Kherson. Anyways, so that was one thing that was interesting. There's another thing that was interesting to me, and that it is Ukraine is manufacturing a lot of prosthetic limbs. Um, so this is kind of where they're making the prosthetic limbs, which I found interesting. Uh, what you might not know, what the audience certainly doesn't know, is that I my dream was to work in prosthetics, and I couldn't because of kind of irony, I think. I couldn't work in prosthetics because I amputated part of my hand. So I couldn't. It's irony, you know. But anyways, this is these guys are making prosthetics for all the wounded. Not just soldiers, obviously. There's lots of civilians who lose their limbs to Russians. So uh,
What I think is the coolest about this, um, Ukraine obviously is going to have a fairly significant portion of their population after this is all over that has a prosthetic, or at least has an amputation and could possibly use a prosthetic. Um, and that is almost certainly going to lead to innovation the same way it's led to innovation in lots of the other things that we see on a daily basis. And I am really excited about how that could work and the prospects for that. Because, Andrew, you know way more about this than I do, but prosthetics don't always work for people and they aren't always super effective. Uh, and the opportunity for an evolution of these into more useful and consistent products that are capable of helping more people is really cool. And I think that's something we could actually see happening in Ukraine.
yeah, unfortunately, prosthetics don't work for a lot of people for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's just bad luck, you know. Especially, I mean, when I say it don't work for people, I mean like the walking, like weight bearing prosthetics are really the issue. Uh, so like prosthetic feet or legs for a lot of people just don't work because they're painful for various reasons that they can wear down the tissue. They can wear down whatever joints are being used. You putting weight in places or in ways that are uncomfortable. and can be very painful for people. And that pain, they can't get through it, or sometimes it's not worth it, you know. So yeah, there's a unfortunately prosthetics don't work for everybody. I think the arms and stuff might be less painful. I don't know. But even like the arms and stuff don't work for everybody either. Some people just don't like it, you know, or they just find it difficult, or just prosthetics are it's a technology that is unfortunately it's not developed enough, and I'd like to see it more developed so that it helps more people. But uh, this is
I
what we're
think
dealing
that's the
with.
really cool opportunity, though, is that like Ukraine obviously is having explosion of tech industry in general, and so having a need plus all of these people who are involved in the tech industry, we might see things like computing used more often in this evolution, and like maybe there's different ways to attach a prosthetic, but then different ways to like make the prosthetic work with computing. Like, who knows? There's so many things that could happen there. There's all of these brain implants now that some of us have been paying attention to for a number of years. Those could be ways that you implement technology into a prosthetic, and maybe it could work more effectively for some people. Like, there's so many options for growth there, and it could be the perfect hotbed for an actual evolution of that.
And this is in Poltava, by the way. This is where this facility is. So that was interesting when I saw it today. Um, I think that's it for that sort of news. I think all the other news that is I saved in this is I don't know if much of it's safe to show, to be honest. But those two things I found super interesting. The Sapper shoes, and people are asking how do the Sapper shoes work? I imagine they work by reducing your uh like how much of you is touching the ground. I imagine like
It's just a pressure thing. So as it what I'm going to do a shitty job explaining this. Excuse my language, sorry. I'm going to do a not great job of explaining this because this is secondhand. But my understanding is that uh, mines, when they explode, it's the pressure in the initial explosion that does the major amount of damage. So if you can remove yourself from that immediate amount of pressure, even by the 6 inches that they're removing themselves there, it vastly changes the amount of damage that a mine can do for most mines that they're dealing with. And so and obviously like they have some protective ability underneath them, like they're built up. You can kind of see them in the pictures that they're built
yeah.
up, and they do have some protection there. But it's just generally removing yourself from the initial pressure that apparently does the most of the work.
Yeah. Anyways, that's some news. Um, I already mentioned the Shahad attack in Odessa. There was a bunch of shelling in Kherson. Um, there was a fire, I believe. I can't remember. Yeah, there's old elderly people wounded, and I think one of them died. But the story that really touched me the most today was in I never know how to say this. Serebryanka Buddha? Is that how you say it? Serebryanka Buddha? Anyway, I don't know how to say it. That's my best take. Anyways, there was a MRL shelling today. I imagine grad, but I don't know. That it killed two women and a 7-year-old girl. Unfortunately, it was a very sad event. And this is this is a city that is in this evacuation area where Ukraine has they have asked everyone to evacuate from the city a while ago. This isn't new. They asked a while ago. And obviously not everyone has. And a child was killed there. Um, it's very frustrating to me that people don't evacuate the children.
I have a lot of words about that, but I don't think I can say any of them on your stream.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what kind of MRL they were. I imagine they were grad. In a sense, it doesn't matter what kind of MRL they were. But in another sense, it kind of does, because if it were a grad, it's kind of like random shelling. But if it were like a tornado, that would be very deliberate because they're very accurate. So I don't know what kind of MRL it was, but it was something. Um, anyways, so getting into news, um, near Sinkivka and Liman Pershi, uh, Ukraine did a small little counterattack here. I don't even know if counterattack's the right word. It's kind of active defense is probably the better term. But anyways, they pushed a little tank out, and it was shooting at relatively short range. If you look at the range here, it's shooting like maybe 30 meters or so. So that tank is like right here, and it's shooting. Where was it shooting? It was shooting like over here, I think. So it's like shooting right there, and so yeah, it just kind of shows you roughly where Russian forces are in regard, well, in relation to Sinkivka. So over the past few days, Russia has been more or less pushing up to the edge of Sinkivka. Today, with I want to state this very clearly, with literally zero evidence, a lot of Russians were claiming that they captured part of Sinkivka today. I will wait for evidence. Without evidence, I consider it all. I consider the Russian statements to be completely bogus. To be honest, it's a boy who cried wolf type problem where they've lied so many times. I just can't take them seriously anymore. Um, so yeah, without the evidence, I will assume it's not true. And the only evidence we do have is a Ukrainian tank engaging right there. So I considered most of this a gray area. You probably could argue that Russia controls like up to around here, maybe like to there. Or I could draw. I have a drawing tool. I keep forgetting I have a drawing tool. You could argue that Russia controls like up to here. Maybe. I'm not sure. So I have a gray area. So
I feel like we need to put a sticky note on your screen that says, I have a drawing tool.
well, yeah, I only got it a few days ago. I got it on like Friday. So I think this is the second stream of a drawing tool. So I'll remember I have it eventually.
I didn't realize that. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's just like a browser plugin. I used to have a green screen, and this drawing tool is a lot easier than the green screen, to be honest. Okay, so um, regarding this Pershal Trevneva area, the other day we had this shelling. I think I talked about this in the stream, the last stream. I can't remember, but anyways, Russia attacked up uh, up this tree line where they got wrecked. I just want to. They got wrecked on this tree line. Just just wrecked. So yeah, they moved up this tree line. They moved up to about here, where they got shelled a bit, and not sure exactly what happened in total because the Russians that were just getting absolutely wrecked. I don't know what else to say. There's like they were like walking in a line and they got hit by an automatic grenade launcher and the grenades did not miss. They hit. But anyways, they were walking like north. They were walking that way. They weren't walking towards the Ukrainians. They're walking away from the Ukrainians when that happened. So what we see is that the Russians kind of moved up to right here. They kind of like moved up to here, and then um, they were moving that way, and we don't know what happened in the middle. So that's all we got. So anyway, so this whole area, I consider this a gray area, uh, personally. Um, this tree line, we've seen Ukraine clear this tree line more than one time. So they kind of like roll up in tanks and kind of clear it, and then some people claim that Ukraine controls the tree line. But I think what they're actually doing is they just roll up, clear it, and then go away. And then it's just empty. And then Russia will attack it, and then they come up and clear it. And I think that's what keeps happening. So yeah, that's kind of all the news I have in this Kupiansk area. There's the rumor that Russia invented got into Sinkivka, but with no evidence. The tank, the shelling thing, and there's been airstrikes, etc., in these two towns here, but otherwise, no particular news. Russia did try to attack in Novoselivska, and it went very badly, and I think they basically gave up after that. They tried moving towards Stomahivka, and I don't think they've had any success, but I think they are still trying. Um, right here, a Leopard 1A5 apparently crashed into a mine in Ukrainian held ground, and that is unfortunate. Um, so this is one of the new Leopards. Well, new in air quotes. It's a it's a pretty old tank. But yeah, it's one of the new Leopards that was recently given to Ukraine by I think Denmark or whatever, and it was kind of attacking on its well, attacking isn't really the right words because it's in Ukrainian held territory. So it was just kind of like running around by itself, like shooting, and it kind of ran up to like here, and then decided well, it started over here. It kind of ran up like this, shot a little bit, and then decided to reverse away, and it reversed into a mine, and then it got hit by artillery. I don't think the tank is destroyed, and it's probably recoverable. But the issue that you can see very clearly is the hatches are open, which is not a pro move. Not a pro move to leave the hatches open. Um, so who
I'm not
knows?
gonna lie.
What's that?
At this point, even I know not to leave the hatches open. Um, so definitely not a pro move because I'm not a pro.
Yeah, yeah. If you're close the hatch, please close the hatch. Uh, anyways, because if you don't know why this is bad, it's because a drone is gonna fly over and drop bombs into the hatch. That's why it's bad. Like, anyways, maybe Ukraine can recover it before that happens, because it is in Ukrainian held territory. Uh, so yeah, over the past like 24 hours or so, um, I've heard this described very aggressively, and I don't. I think you should take it with a grain of salt. But um, people were saying that Russia launched a very strong attack in this Kremmina area. Um, there were images of uh, these Su-25s flying through. You can see them, the two of them. They were flying through Kremmina. This eyeball is exactly where they were, and So there were airstrikes, obviously, um, and the the general staff reported that Yampolivka, Terny, and Torska were all assaulted, or well, not the towns, but they're assaulted in those three directions. And I have heard from a few sources, none of whom are particularly reliable, I'll say, but I've heard that these assaults were rather large and intense. That Russia wasn't really messing around. Like they very much intended to assault, and it wasn't like 30 guys attacking. It was a big attack, and that's what they claim. Although um, I've heard this sort of story so many times before, where you know you hear from a guy and he's like, "We were attacked by an entire division. There were 3,000 tanks. We all died. I'm dead, actually." Um, and then you talk to someone who was like in the same trench as him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we were attacked by like 15 guys." So people tell their stories, you know. Um, and the thing is when you hear those sorts of stories, they're not necessarily lying. They just they get like combat like warps your brain, you know. They're probably not lying to you. They just got so hopped up on adrenaline that they didn't know what was really going on. Or a lot of soldiers, they don't know anything that happens beyond the tree right next to them. So
Well, it strikes me that that's the same, like they're living in the same headspace as, when you read a police report about something that happened, like a big event, and it's somebody's eyewitness of what happened, and you have like video of what actually happened, but the eyewitness account doesn't really tell the same story because they're hopped up on adrenaline and they didn't really see everything that happened and they don't know all of the details. Kind of the same thing.
yeah, there's so many stories. You get stories of like my entire company died. Like everyone in my company died. You're like, including you? They're like, oh, my entire company died for the fifth time. Like, okay, you know, it's weird that you're in a company and everyone dies except you five times. That's weird. But you must be very lucky, you know. Like you get story like there's so many stories like that. It's just I always take everything with a grain of salt. But anyways, I've heard from multiple people that these assaults were rather large, but none of them are super trustworthy. So um, anyway, moving on south to Klishchiivka, I showed some of this fighting that I was just talking about, where the Ukrainians were wiped out. I think it was like six guys. I'm not sure though. Uh, but that wasn't a recent video because there's no snow. You can look at the image. There's no snow, so it's not recent. But I don't think it's old either. I think it was probably from like a week and a half ago, or whatever, before like right before the snow. Because I don't think it's that much older than that.
Did the snow start on Friday? Is that right?
I can't remember. I I genuinely can't remember.
Again, we're back to the whole Exit and Andrew can't remember timelines, and it could have been yesterday or 2 weeks ago. Good question.
Yeah. There's I don't sleep enough to remember what day things happened. But anyways, the general news around Klishchiivka is that I don't think anything's changed. We get videos from Klishchiivka. All the videos show the exact same thing, and that thing that they show is that Russia attacks. It goes as badly as it possibly could go, and then they try again. And when I see when I see the videos of Klishchiivka, and it's not really Klishchiivka. It's like right here. It's like right here. It's like Andriivka, Zelenopilia. It's like right here. When I see these videos, I don't even know how an assault could go worse for the Russians. Like everyone goes as bad as possible. Um, and then they just keep trying it over and over again. They like literally attack the exact same place, just over and over and over and over and over again. And it goes the same way every time. Um, this kind of northern part of Klishchiivka, we've heard that Russia advanced a little bit along this hill here, but they haven't advanced that far because they do occasionally shell Ukrainians who are also in this gray area. So this gray area, Russians go in. They apparently like move to around here, and then probably get pushed back or just retreat or whatever. And then Ukraine appears to push towards the Russians, and then they get pushed back. And this whole area seems to switch hands a whole awful bunch. I've noted in the recent past that um, the this Dachi area of Bakhmut is getting shelled by Russians. Um, you can see the shelling in this here video. So that shelling is right here. And yeah, so I just don't know of any changes. Russia is continuously assaulting. The assault groups are not terribly big. They I don't know the exact size, like maybe 10, 20, maybe not even 20, maybe 15. I don't know. It's about that size. They're not big. It's not like they're sending in like 1,000 at a time. Okay, it's small groups, and they don't go well. It goes very, very badly every single time from what I see. I have not seen any exceptions. Moving on down south to Horlivka. Yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. There was a big old explosion in Horlivka. They claimed it was a Gimler strike on something. I don't actually know too much about the explosion other than there was one. So that was interesting. Other than that, I have no news about Horlivka. Um,
Can you do your fancy circle on that one?
you want a circle?
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
fancy circle.
I don't also
what it
don't
could.
know where in Horlivka it hit.
Oh, I gotcha. Probably did do the fancy circle.
But yeah, it's I could still draw a circle though. Here. How big do you want your circle? Do you want 60?
I don't.
Do you want 60
I
units
don't
of
know.
circle?
Damn it, Andrew. I was just trying to figure out what could have hit it. That's all. But I get you. Okay, never mind.
Well, I mean, basically anything could hit it. It's within the range of like it's even in mortar range, basically. Uh, like anything could hit it. They said it was a Gimler. They said there was a missile came from God and exploded something.
Well, we know it wasn't a mortar, so that makes sense.
But yeah, it's basically all of Horlivka is in range of everything. Like even the way back is like in artillery range. Oh well, kind of stretching it, but I don't actually know where it exploded. I didn't geolocate it. Constantine, you're here.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Okay, how you doing?
Doing all right. Are you live or
Yes.
it's all... Oh, nice. Just came home here. We had a meeting with one of our uh people deputies or MPs, I don't know how to call them, like senators in the United States.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it, or do you not want to talk about it?
No, there is not much to talk. We just, it was like local community meeting. She came in
Oh, okay.
and we just discussed stuff about Ukraine, about what's going on, and what we can do to help. Stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, about the foreign aid, about the weapons that are needed, and the problems. It's a lot of topics. I don't know what to do. If you have something to ask, but nothing that jumps out of my mind.
Okay. Do you have anything new to say about Klishchiivka?
No, I have a couple of like guys who work in there on the south of it, and they've been working pretty like a lot, dropping those grenades. And there is like a massacre, and I know today at least 2 pilots. Let me pull up the number. One of the pilots told me, so he wounded 5 guys, and one is gone from the drops, and that's the same place. Remember, I made the video. They keep coming.
Yep.
And another guy is a bit north of him. He said he had. They're like counting, keeping the count of. So yeah, he says 200 and 300. That's the score. That's all I have from that area. I don't think there were any changes on the map.
Yeah, I don't think there are changes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just they just keep trying the same thing. That's what I see. They're like, well, it didn't work the first 500 times, but it'll work this time.
I can give you a challenge to identify the weapon being used. There is no people on the video, just explosions far away. Can you show it, or it's too risky?
I mean, if it's just far away, I guess.
Yeah, it's far. It's like 2 kilometers away.
Okay.
It's gonna be a challenge for you, for our audience. Give me 1 second. Here. And here. Okay, where do you want me to send it to?
I don't care.
Telegram?
Sure.
This is you. No, that's not you. I want to send it to someone else. Yeah, притом.
Anyways, while you do that, yesterday there were several large explosions in Donetsk city, which was fun. They were in kind of the southeastern outskirts of the city. I also don't know what exploded, but they did it did seem to be big, a rather big explosion. So and then there was also more explosions today. These are not fully confirmed, so but I think they did. If I remember right, they claimed it was like anyway. Apparently they said there was like a missile strike. There was definitely air defense going on, but and the Russians claimed that they shot down 3 missiles, but other people are claiming they were not shot down. So maybe we'll get more information about that tomorrow. Oh, you sent it to me. Oh,
What is it?
I think it's a helicopter. That's my guess.
S9?
What?
S9 unguided missiles from the helicopter.
Yeah, I think it's helicopter. That's my guess. Just looking at it, it just looks helicopter-y to me.
It's just very, very big, distance between the explosions. What surprises me, it's really, really big.
Yeah.
But they're all like the same second, so which makes me think it's a helicopter as well. Do you know where is it? Can you geolocate it? I think it should be easy.
I think this is. Yeah, I think I know where this is. I think I know. I think I know where that is. Let me find my three-dimensional map. It's here. I think this is like Avdiivka, right?
It's somewhere in that area, yeah, it's supposed to be.
I think it's.
And there are power lines, also large ones.
There's a power line like right here, right here. Is this the? Is it like looking that way, basically?
It's for you. We have exit here. I think you can chip in as well. Because I don't know, man. I don't know. You're the first person. Like I literally, someone sent it to me. My friend sent it to me like 20 minutes ago. So I don't know where is it. I did not ask.
I think
it's definitely around Avdiivka because that's where
I think this is looking south towards Krynky. Like here. I think like this might be the that yeah, I think this is Krynky, and that might be. Can you actually see like? I don't know what that is. Anyway, I think this water and this like miney thing is this. I think it might be like right here, like shelling like right there. I think like right here. That's my take on it. And there's a lot of like electrical thingies here.
Right.
Yeah, and I think this is the electrical thing right here. Yeah. So it's kind of looking like that, like this. And the shelling is right here. That's my take on it. I don't know.
I agree with you.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to talk about today, Constantine?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just,
Okay.
I thought I'd try and listen to you.
All right. Well, I'll just keep going then.
Please.
I don't have any particular news about Horlivka. I don't have any particular news about this northern part of Avdiivka. There's been some confirmed Russian gains over the past few days. Although these gains probably happened a while ago, but I waited for confirmation, and they took control over this little corner north of Stepova and south of whatever that town's called. Anyway, anyways, so they took this little corner. Ukraine was shooting them with mortars. But other than that, there was this little Russian assault right into this tree line here, which is showing that they don't attack it. They don't control it, that part of the tree line anyway, or at least they didn't at the time they assaulted it. And so yeah, there's really not too many changes that I know of in the northern part of Avdiivka. It's kind of the way it was. Ukraine appears to have pushed Russia out of these little pieces of tree line just north of Avdiivka, and there was a point where, go back in time far enough, that Russia did control that area, and they've been removed over the past few days. And yeah. To the southern portion of Avdiivka, the Russians. I don't know if this is a new video. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about it, but it is recently released, but I'm not sure if it was recently filmed. But basically, this industrial area, which Russia may control all of it. Is the name Pumpka? Is that the name, Constantine? I can't remember. Prompka? Is that it?
Prom, yeah, that's like industrial.
Okay.
It translates it in like industrial district.
Anyway, so anyways, so the Russians are claiming that they've captured all of it. Ukraine is saying that they haven't. The only evidence that, like, firm hard evidence that we have of Russians' extent of control is basically this red area, and I guess maybe I could extend the red area to right there. So, but we don't have solid evidence of them going any further west or north than this area of control here. You would see a lot of the Russian sources are claiming that they control this whole area, which we have no evidence for. You could probably argue it, and I'll probably change this after the stream, that they controlled right there, but yeah, that's not super significant in the grand scheme of things. But I don't see any particular changes here. So today there were a ton of Russian rumors about Serebryanka, and I can't say that the rumors are false, but I can say I see no evidence to support them. But that doesn't mean evidence won't come out in the future. But the most aggressive of the Russian sources were claiming that they had gone like up like that, basically into the town itself and captured a street, which there's zero evidence. Some of the more conservative Russians are saying that they captured that area, so they moved up to the next tree line. But there's no evidence to support it. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. They have gone up this far north before. In the original, first days of the assault, of this more current Avdiivka attack. I mean, in like October 10th or whatever, they did get to this tree line and they occupied it for a bit, and then they withdrew because they couldn't hold it. This area is it's very difficult for Russia to hold. They have pushed up and captured this whole tree line multiple times before, and every time they've been forced to retreat. I don't think Ukraine even pushes them out; they just leave. I think it's difficult to supply. So let's just look at the map of it in 3 dimensions. So this tree line here is on the reverse side of this slope. So somewhere around somewhere around here is the top of the slope. So it goes down to this stream over here, this pond, whatever, and then it goes back down again to over here. So like this stream. So this tree line is on the Ukraine's side of the slope, and I think it's just difficult to get there for Russia. Because you go over the slope, you get hit by drones, you get hit by ATGMs and tanks and artillery, and I think it's just difficult for them to actually control this tree line. Now, if Russia ever actually does capture that tree line, it is really bad for Ukraine, like really, really bad. And this has been a position that Ukraine has put a lot of effort into not losing this whole tree line. It really cuts down on Ukraine's ability to get resources into Avdiivka if they lose that tree line. It's actually exceptionally awful if they do. Anyways, the Russians are claiming that they've captured part of it. Maybe they have. I've seen literally no evidence. And there's, I guess we could talk about why it's so bad. Here, I'll turn on the roads so you can see what the roads are here. And you'll see that there is one road, and there's one paved road. So this paved road comes from the west into Avdiivka, like basically near the coke plant, right? There are a few unpaved roads that are basically farm roads that you can take these unpaved farm roads into Avdiivka, especially this one here, which basically runs through Serebryanka. So this is why losing Serebryanka and losing this tree line is so bad, because it gets Russia within a kilometer of one of the two roads into Avdiivka. You also have to keep in mind that this northern paved road is under constant threat from Russians who are very, very close to it. So yeah, it's just bad. And in addition to that, this area south of Serebryanka is relatively easy to defend for Ukraine. So you'd be losing this easily defended area, and letting Russia get very close to one of your only remaining supply lines, which would be very bad. Very, very bad. So yeah, I personally think a lot of these stories are Russian hopium. I think they're trying to pollute the information space with lies. And until I see evidence to the contrary, that's kind of my take on it. Because they always do this. They just lie about everything. And they see, like, it seems that their goal is to instill panic. And at this point, their lies, like, don't even faze me. Like, I don't even get annoyed by it anymore. Like, I used to be like, oh man, they're lying again. But now it's just like, whatever. You know, who cares?
So I don't know about farm roads there. Constantine, maybe you can correct me, but farm roads here, like you can drive down them for a while they're wet and muddy, but fairly quickly with like a lot of really heavy traffic, they will start to break down and get potholes and things like that. So they aren't going to be optimal for very long, especially if they're taking fire, I would assume. Is that the same there, Constantine?
I cannot tell you this story. It's not out of my area of expertise. This area is I rely on Andrew to provide the information.
Personally, I can't comprehend why Ukraine never built more roads into Avdiivka. They had a very long time to do it. Like, I like really don't understand why they never did. That it hurts my brain to think about. It's like one of those things is like, why did you never just build another road? Or I don't know. It's like it's not even that far. It's like well, like a 5 kilometer road. Like, how long would it take to build? Like 2 months, a month maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Russia also is attacking north out of Vodiana, and there's this video of them pushing their little tank up and shooting this. So they moved their tank up to here, and they shot these tree lines with a bunch of shells, and then Ukraine started shooting at the tank with artillery. One of them hit the tank, and it kind of drove away sad with its tail between its legs. So that was all their little attack north of Vodiana. So yeah, that's kind of all of the confirmed Avdiivka news that I have. Today, the Russians have been trying to say that the whole world is falling apart in Avdiivka. I see no evidence of it. Maybe there will be evidence of it, but until then, I don't believe it. So, moving on. I have no news from this kind of little corner down here, other than to say that there have been a few notable airstrikes here that are interesting. They're putting airstrikes in areas that don't often get hit by airstrikes, and it's just interesting that they appear to be hitting the towns behind Nova Mykolaiv, which they haven't. It's not they haven't done it before. It's just rare, and I'm curious if an increase in airstrikes in these towns behind the current front line indicate or would indicate a Russian push to take this frontline town in the near future, because softening up the next town and then attacking this current front line, because this town is demolished. There's nothing left. They've basically dropped a 500-kilogram bomb on like every single structure. They have hit this town with so many bombs, it's ridiculous. So it just makes me wonder if they're going to start doing the same to the towns further back. Anyways, there's this ongoing assault here west of Staromayorsk, and the Russian assault is basically moving steadily east. I probably should update my map here, because it does seem that Russia is capturing these positions as they move ever eastward towards Staromayorsk. It seems that they have a very real intention of recapturing this town. And then around Rabatina and Verbova, there is this one thing here. Now, I'm not entirely convinced that these videos are new or old, which is why I haven't changed my map, but we did see some Ukrainian drone videos from this tree intersection. I kind of think the videos are a bit old. I think they're from maybe 3 weeks ago, which is why I haven't changed my map. Otherwise, if they are new, it would mean this area is a gray area or Russian controlled, but I do think Ukraine actually does control that in those videos from a few weeks ago. And beyond that, no any real changes. There was a Ukrainian missile strike in Tokmak today, and there was a photo. I'll try to find it. I don't actually have the photo itself. I just have this. But yeah, this building that people say that it was a field hospital, like a military field hospital. I don't know if that's true, but anyways, Ukraine hit it with a missile, probably a Gimler, and this was in kind of downtown Tokmak. Also today, there was apparently a strike in Mariupol by an S-200. Russia shot a bunch of air defense, but a lot of people in Mariupol say the air defense didn't work. So, I don't know. There's no real evidence that there was damage, but the other people, the Mariupol residents, are like, something exploded. So, anyways, there was also a missile strike in Zaporizhia. It was an Iskander. I have no clue what they hit. typically Iskanders are shot at high value targets. So I don't know what the target would have been. They did claim that I can't remember if they said one person was wounded. Yeah, there was one wounded, one casualty from that missile strike that they announced anyway. I don't think they never announced military casualties, obviously. So if there were military, they would not announce them. But yeah, that's kind of all the news I have. We already talked about Krynky. Krynky was really heavily bombed, apparently. The video came out right before the stream started. I just talked about that in the beginning of the stream. Beyond that, um, Ukraine has been going on assaults in the woods. I don't exactly know where in the woods. It might be further over here. It's hard. It's really hard to locate this video because it's just like trees. uh, anyways, yeah. So they're it's hard to map Krynky. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people regarding Krynky that my map doesn't have enough gray area. Is basically what people tell me. I keep getting told that the gray area extends like kind of this far in that direction, and that like all of this is a gray area as well. People keep telling me that. I'm just sticking to the evidence that I see. The evidence that I see is that Russians are trying to enter. They've been trying to enter this kind of eastern part of Krynky, and they never seem to be able to control it when they do. And that they're trying to move through this western part of Krynky, but they always get repelled. That's what I see. I also see Russians trying to move through the forest into the central part of Krynky, and they never succeed. That's what I see. So this gray area is just the evidence that I have. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. Do you guys have anything?
We did pretty good at not dooming the entire thing. Good job.
Yeah, even the dolphins got out and swam away. So, Constantine, did you hear about the dolphins?
No, I have not. What's up?
The dolphin pens, where they kept their like anti-scuba people dolphins.
Yeah, it's the Ukrainian ones actually that they stole from us.
Yeah. Well, the pens are gone, and the dolphins are gone, and we choose to believe the dolphins.
Because of the storm? Because of the storm?
Yes.
Oh man.
We choose to believe the dolphins broke free and are living a happy life now.
If they can survive, I don't know, if you're a killer dolphin, maybe they're gonna eat Russian pilots that can sail.
Maybe.
Because it's like, you cannot take it away from the dolphin. He's a killing machine.
And they're very smart,
Yeah, they're smart. Smarter than some Russians are.
Yeah.
Dolphins are the smartest weapons, animals, right?
I don't know about that. They're pretty smart.
Did you play chess with one?
I've never played chess with a dolphin, no. Have you played chess with a dolphin?
No.
I'm a big fan of elephants. Big elephant guy.
Okay, did you play chess with elephants?
No, but I have seen an elephant paint a picture. I've never seen a dolphin paint a picture.
And you have seen me never paint a picture.
No, that's how I know elephants are smarter than you.
Yeah.
I've never seen you do anything with your nose, and I've seen elephants like tell jokes with their nose. So
Yep. They're smart.
birds are pretty smart. Birds are smart. Yeah, there's a lot of smart animals. I think generally speaking, animals are smarter than people think. Anyways, that's all I got to talk about this time. We'll be back on Friday. There might be guests. Who knows? there was almost a guest today, but then there wasn't. But maybe next time. Anyways, goodbye everybody. We'll be back on Friday.
Thanks